What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Mountain Motorsports in Roswell. In front of us, we have the 2019 KTM RC 390, the third bike in our low CC sport bike class. We've done the R3, we've done the Ninja 400, and now we have the RC 390, the other bigger engine bike in the class. This is also the most raced replica motorcycle of the class that we're going to be doing. I have ridden an RC 390 before. It was a year or so ago, but I'm excited to ride this in conjunction with all the other small CC sport bikes to see how we do. Also, it is important to note, if you are in the market for a brand new motorcycle or a motorcycle in general, and you're going to come and visit one of Mountain's multiple locations, make sure to click down below to get first ride special pricing. I have saved you guys tons of cash on a motorcycle. Check it out down below. And without further ado, let's look at pretty pictures. Let's see the sound check, and let's do the first ride here on Chaseontwowheels YouTube channel. Hit the like button so I can turn the key on. I literally can't. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, now we can start. All right, RC 390. Here we go. Whoa, that mirror is terrible. Again, the mirror is not terrible. It is just not positioned as I need. All right. It does say transport log. That's just some weird KTM stuff. This seat is so hard. Oh my good Lord. I don't have as bent legs, so I'm going to say we're on the slightly taller side on the RC 390. It's a very minimal situation going on up here. There's not a lot. It looks like I can go straight into the ground. Also, my GoPro was acting weird this morning, so I'm going to be double checking that it's still recording. It is. Without further ado, I think we should go. We got an adjustable lever. Hell yes. That was one of the downfalls of the other bikes. They did not have an adjustable lever. Yeah, three's where I need to be. So, like I said in the intro, guys, the RC 390 is going to be our more race replica motorcycle. This is the most expensive bike in the class, at least here in America. All right, RC 390, let's get your little race butt on. Oh, no cars. Man. Already I can tell this is a bigger engine of the low CC sport bikes. So guys, the RC 390 is going to be our race version of this class. I know that a lot of people actually get this bike for a race bike, and it seems to work out pretty well, and it kind of feels like that. It's got the harder seat. I definitely feel the most aggressive on this bike compared to at least the R3 and the Ninja 400. And already, just pulling out of Mountain, I can already tell that we are dealing with a few more CCs, a few more horsepower, And this has got the leading torque in the class, and you can actually tell what is happening in front of us. That torque helps out so much, man. That's incredible. I feel like, honestly, the other bikes need to focus on getting more torque in their engines and less worried about horsepower, because these things can go up to 100 miles an hour, but that torque can get you up to 100 a lot quicker. And I think that's what some of the other bikes in this class are kind of missing out on. Other than the Ninja 400. The Ninja 400's got some good power. The levers feel good. They're a little wiggly, but that's fine. I love that they're adjustable. If you guys have gone and seen the R3 and the Ninja 400, the R3's levers were good, but I wish they were adjustable, and we already have them here on the RC. While we're sitting still, we can check the weight. Weight doesn't seem bad at all. I'm standing up. It is a taller bike, so standing up, I'm still like on the bike, if you guys know what I mean. But like wiggling and back and forth, the weight's really light. The steering is really light. It's it feels solid. I'm liking what I'm feeling here. Yeah, see, already you can tell it's got so much more torque than the other bikes. Torque is what's going to push you forward on these bikes, and that's why having more torque actually makes you feel like the bike's faster. So speaking of bike being faster, let's talk about the engine real quick. The RC390 is rocking a single cylinder engine, as opposed to the parallel twins that are on some of the other bikes. I think the Honda CBR 300 also has a single cylinder, but that's going to it's going to modify the engine characteristics and how the power is put on and stuff like that. And I gotta say, man, the R3 did a good job of the transmission and the gears, like you clicking into the gears. The RC390 does even better of a job. Like just the shifting and the rev matching and like going up and down the gears, like it feels solid. I have no doubt that I'm in the gears that I need to be in. Clutch is probably the best I've had so far on one of these low CC sport bikes. And it's adjustable, so you can make it exactly where you want it to be, which is phenomenal. Handling wise, this bike does feel closer to the Ninja. It's very light, it's very nimble. It's what you would expect out of a bike like this. And I'm curious what the highway is going to feel like with such a nimble little bike. It's I kind of feel like I might want to feel a little more planted on the highway. Oh man, clutchless shifting. It doesn't have an auto blipper or anything like that, but if you like let off the gas and then right back on it, you can clutchless shift, and that feels phenomenal on this bike. Engine braking's not bad. It's actually it's not as strong as the R3 was, but it's definitely usable. I feel like the engine braking was almost non-existent on the Ninja 400, but I can actually see it being usable here on this bike. While we're stuck at another red light, let's look at the controls. We got big old controls. You are not going to have a problem finding any of the buttons here. And we got a couple modes up here. Whew, that dash. I'm pretty sure KTM's been using that dash for a long time. It looks old as hell. This looks like Game Boy technology. KTM, your Duke class bikes have amazing dashes and like screens. Why are we using this on a 2019 RC390? That is sad. That is sad that a 2019 bike has a dash like that. I cannot forgive you for that. I'll try, but I don't know if I can. Man, such good off the line with this bike. It's so easy to get started, which is super important. If you're a brand new rider and you're looking for a bike to learn on, then the clutch is super important because you don't have that finessed hand of using a clutch. So having a good clutch on a bike, especially a low CC one, super important. Really happy to see what the RC390 has. So I'm kind of torn on the body position I have on this thing. I am leaned up more. I feel like I'm on a smaller R6 is the feeling I have right now. You know, it's not a high revving bike or anything, but the seat is hard. It's not really that comfortable. And I want to, you know, I'm leaned forward and I feel like I'm on a small race bike. This bike, everybody says, you know, oh, this is the race bike of the small bikes, but you know, there's a reason. It feels like a small race bike. You're leaned up forward. You've got adjustable levers, which is a race modification. With all these race characteristics, it's going to be interesting getting this thing on the highway, because what this bike should do on the highway is be able to get me up to speed long, and I expect that when I tuck in, I actually get wind blowing over me. I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll have to see. Blinkers are all right. Yeah, the blinkers are certainly better than the R3. The R3 blinkers are just mush, dude. Let's try these brakes out. There we go, fam. Again, with the brakes being that decent, like, you know, obviously I didn't really get a good test of the R3 brakes because it was a brand new bike, but these brakes feeling as strong as they do, it makes this bike feel even more like the smaller race version, like the race bike of the small supers class, or the sport bike class. Now, the one thing that does stink about this bike is that it has the lowest size, like, per gallon gas tank of all the bikes. This thing's got like a 2.6 something gas tank. The other one's got like 3.5 and 4. It's way smaller than it needs to be. You do have a gas gauge though, which is helpful. I love being on a tiny bike and being around town. Dude, it's so great. If you guys have a big bike and you do most of your riding in town, whoa, no thanks. If you've got like a big leader bike and you ride in town, man, you guys are missing out on so much fun you could be having by just having a smaller bike. I swear to God, it makes riding in town so much more fun. Then brakes, I feel confident that I can stop this thing when I need to, which is confidence inspiring, makes me be able to ride like I want. I like this, man. We're not in a race situation, we're on a public road, so we can't be riding crazy, but it feels good. Going back and forth in this lane, like, it takes literally nothing to get this bike going back and forth. But is that gonna make me feel fragile on the highway? We will have to find out. Man, this bike wins in the gear shifting. Let me just say, of all the small CC bikes I've been riding, none have felt that good shifting gear to gear. Another thing I like about this bike being so light, and this class in general, of all the bikes feeling so light, when a bike feels light, it doesn't take a lot of energy to ride it around town, where you're going and stopping and changing lanes and doing this and doing that. And that means you're going to be able to enjoy the ride, because trust me, like, as a guy who used to live in the middle of a big city and had an R6, you get frustrated and fatigued having to ride a super sport around town all the time, because it takes a lot to move those things around. You get yourself on a little thing like this, and going around town's fun. It's actually I honestly think it's actually a better motorcycle to have if you live in an in-town situation. Speaking of the opposite of in-town situations, we're about to get on the highway, and so we get to test the RC 390 highway entrance. RC 390 2019, hitting the highway hard. Let's go. Starting off in second gear. We gotta let them get a little farther ahead of us. What can we try to catch? I don't even know. There's nothing. White truck. White, like, F-250 thing. And there he goes. We've got to catch him. My goodness, this is easily able to get onto the highway. There's a truck for reference. Interestingly, the RC 390 did not feel like it was going that fast. You don't get this feeling of going faster, but you are actually increasing speed way faster. It's weird. All right, RC 390 on the highway. Shift RPM light is blinking, but there's nothing I can do about that. We're in 6th gear, going 75. Throttle it up. You can see the speed. We are going faster by a little bit. Alright, let's check this wind situation. Not even close to what I wanted to do. I gotta be honest, this is a little upsetting. I wanted this bike to have really good wind resistance when I tucked in. And so far, none of the bikes have except for that R3. That R3 felt great when I tucked in. Man, that's actually a letdown, to be honest. Because if I'm recommending this bike for you guys to go and do track days with, what's going to happen when you're going down the back straight? You know what I'm saying? So going back and forth in my lane, you know, similar to the R3, it does feel a little more planted on the highway. I like the way it feels. You know, a tiny bike, you expect to be blown all the way around, and I don't feel like that right now. I do feel like I'm wringing the bike out a little bit to go 83. You know, let's slow down to a reasonable 70. This doesn't feel as bad, but like this bike is not feeling like the move if you are doing something like commuting. The bike doesn't really feel like, engine-wise, it doesn't feel like it's happy just chilling on the highway like this. It felt way more comfortable when we were on the city streets and just going all around. I will say it is windy and I'm not going anywhere, so like wind protection wise it feels fine. But yeah, not a commuter bike, this RC 390. Which is a shame because it's got the engine to keep you going on the highway and get around traffic. All right. Slowing on down, coming up to our big turn up here, our big old right-hander. Kind of glad to be off the highway, if I'm gonna be honest. I had higher expectations out of the old RC 390. I really wanted it to be a better bike on the highway. Leaning the bike over feels great. Again, it feels like a little race bike, which is awesome. You know, it honestly, it feels like a smaller R6. I know it's not a Yamaha and it doesn't rev up like an R6 does, but as far as how the body and the bike feel, it definitely has a little race bike feel. And I like that. Spent a lot of time on an R6, very familiar. Don't do it. Don't. Thank you so much. Yeah, I like leaning this bike over, man. You know, this bike is proving more and more that it's a little race bike. It's not a commuter bike. It's a little bike that is kind of ready to take you on the track. Now, something in the comments of these videos that I've been seeing is you guys saying the KTM's a good bike. It is a little more expensive here in the US, but the upkeep on the RC 390 is supposedly more than all the other bikes. Now, if you go with a bigger manufacturer like a Kawasaki or a Yamaha or something like that, you're obviously going to be getting amazing bang for your buck. So I don't know personally if it's more expensive to own a KTM, even an RC 390, but that is something I would look into. I don't have any info for you, but if you guys are looking into your first bike and, you know, you're holding on to pennies to make sure you can afford one thing over another, make sure to keep into consideration the upkeep of the bike. Man, this thing is screaming for a small track. It feels so much more comfortable. It's weird when a bike makes you feel honestly more comfortable leaning over than you do riding in a straight line. It's a really weird feeling. You know, you'd think like, oh, riding in a straight line, I feel as safe as possible. No, this bike feels so much more planted when I'm leaning it over and when I'm wringing it out than when I'm on the highway just like, brrr. It's so weird. It's such a weird feeling, and I imagine if this was somebody's first bike, it would be hard to not want to go ride hard. You know what I mean? Because you almost get rewarded for riding like that. One thing aesthetically about the RC 390 is it definitely looks like the thinnest and smallest motorcycle. Just from the rider position right here, it feels tiny. tiny in like a knife way, like intentionally tiny. It's not like a bad thing. I'm gonna have to get around these cars because I'm gonna have a conniption if I can't wring this bike out. Alright, I'm in the inside lane. Watch me as I cut to the outside for a bigger turn. You gotta play the cards you're dealt, boy. Oh, man. I am noticing there's a decent amount of shaking on this thing. My feet are like, got a lot of vibrating stuff going on. And the higher the revs get, the more the vibrating it gets. So, something to keep in mind. KTMs in the past do have a bit of an issue with being vibrating, so not surprised, but it is something to keep in mind. I also have to imagine a vibrating bike can't be good for servicing. Like, all those parts vibrating all the time can't be a good thing. There's an odd like sensation of a click when I shift gears down. I kind of like it. It kind of is like my little mechanism of like, hey, just letting you know you shifted down. There we go. See, that's where it's home. That's where the bike feels like it's home. Like throttling up, slowing down, coming into this turn, leaning the bike over. Everything feels okay when you're doing that. Look at it. Listen to it. You can hear it. You can hear the click. Oh, I like it. It's like when you fire a gun. It's like boom. That's what it feels like. It's like the motorcycle shotgun or something. Oh, it's like I don't even want to try to wheelie it. I just want to lean it over, man. No cars coming. We're safe. Yeah, who wants to wheelie when you can, like, lean? Oh. Ah, that's good, man. That's good. Oh, look. We don't have any shaky handlebars. Or do we? Nah, we got solid handlebars. Hell yeah. First low-cc sport bike that hasn't had shaky handlebars. I'm looking at you, Ninja 400 and the R3 with your shaky old handlebars. Speaking of shaky handlebars, just kidding. One of the things about this bike that's interesting is while it is the most expensive bike in the class, it is also the only bike that does not offer a non-ABS option. So every other bike in this class, you can get ABS, ABS being anti-lock brakes. Please stop so I don't have to use the ABS. Anti-lock brakes, so if you slam on the brakes, even if the tire starts skidding, the brakes will not let the tires like fall out. Like you can just lay on the brakes like I just did, and the front wheel will not lock up. That's going to stop the front wheel from washing out on you, which if you're a new rider could happen if you panic brake or something like that. So this is the only bike. Every RC390 you see is going to have ABS. Now I love the fact that you can get a low cc sport bike with ABS on it. But one of the unfair things that that does to the RC390 is by allowing the other bikes to have a non-ABS option, then they can show a much lower MSRP. If you guys go watch the first video with all of these low cc sport bikes being compared, price-wise, it would look like the RC390 is way more expensive than all the other models because it's like $5,400 or something like that. And you have the R3 starting at like, I think 42. But once you start looking at what the other models cost for their ABS option, not the non-ABS option, the prices all start becoming very similar. If I remember correctly, the R3 with ABS is only $5,200, whereas this bike is $5,400. So the KTM isn't that much more expensive if you only compare the ABS models. So keep that in mind when you're looking at the price. If it was me looking into a bike that I want to get, it would be an ABS model without a shadow of a doubt. If I've got the option of having some type of rider aid like that that's going to keep my butt safer when I get into a perilous situation, I'm definitely going to grab that, because that could be the difference in you low-siding your bike and you keeping the bike up, you know what I mean, or locking up the front or something like that with the brakes. It's just a safety feature, and it's totally worth the money. So if you are trying to like count pennies and like you don't have as much money as you wish you did on bikes, I would honestly, dude, I'd save up a little more so you could afford the ABS option. You are not going to regret that type of upgrade. All right, time to pull into the old walk around spot to do a little walk around of the old RC390. And I get to lean some. It's beautiful. It's fun. I wonder if somebody's ever going to come talk to me here, because I've been doing first rides and pulling into this place for years at this point. All right, man, small bikes. You can maneuver around parking lots so easy. Again, showing that this bike is so good to be your city destroyer. All right, walk around of the 2019 KTM RC 390. A very polarizing motorcycle. I feel like you like this or not. It's got a very unique look, and KTM, as per usual, has this, you know, they got their black, orange, and white look, but I think this bike looks the most industrial of all of the lower CC sports. You know, it's got, like, this is the kind of signature RC390 look right here. You got the little, I think these are LED. Actually, I have no clue if they're LED or not, but these little eyeball lights here. It's a slick looking bike. I don't think it looks nearly as good as the R3. And honestly, for me, I'd put this one at like number 3 looks wise. I think it's R3, Ninja 400, RC390. And then the Honda and the Suzuki are just kind of chilling. But yeah, that's your single cylinder engine. Small, very, very small exhaust, which is nice. We have a much better rear set situation here. This, look at that. It just blends in. Way nicer on this than the other bikes we've seen. You know, looking at the bike, just walking around it, these things are so chunky, and I don't really know if they need to be. I'm not sure those need to be that big, but, you know, regardless. Definitely going to have to get a tail tidy situation. This bike has a really cool tail. This is actually a seat. You guys can see I can push that in. You can get a seat cowl for that. And but look at the light. So the light is only there in the middle, and you got this little tucked in area, which I found out moving around the dealership. You can hold right here, hold the handlebar. You have a lot of control in moving this bike around. Showing you guys that it is easy to move the bike up and down, get it moving around. I moved it all over the dealership to get it out the door. Had no problem with it. So even if you're a smaller rider, you're not going to have a problem getting all over the bike. It is, I mean, look how thin this thing is. It's tiny, man. Really solid, though. So yeah, you guys can let me know what you think about the looks down below. And if you do like the way the bike looks a lot, you guys can go check out my website, Chaseontwowheels.com. I do a little photo set of each bike I do a first ride on. They look like that. And if you're too lazy to go to a website, pull your phone out and go to Instagram and go to C2DubPics. I will post some photos of the RC390 over there, as long as all the other stuff I post. But yeah, guys, that's the RC390. I think I've shown you guys every inch of it. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's get back on this thing and let's go for a ride. I feel like a vertically challenged person could definitely handle this motorcycle. Dude, look at the gas. We have not been riding long, and it is just going down hard. Woo! Man, every time I sit on this bike, I realize how hard that seat is. It's honestly not that terrible, honestly, but I would not want to ride this thing for a really long time. It's almost like I would only want to ride it for a track session or two. How odd. All right, we're going after the Audi. Are you guys ready? On your mark, get set, torque, please. Be true. Not even close to being a problem. All right, guys, so let's wrap it up on the 2019 KTM RC 390. Overall, I think it's pretty obvious at this point in the video, this bike is made to be a tiny race bike. If you are looking into a motorcycle and you know you want to be doing technical riding and doing track days, it is going to be hard to push you to another bike other than this. The only thing that makes this thing not ideal for track riding is the windscreen. You know, when I tucked in on the highway, I didn't get much in the way of wind protection, which that was honestly the biggest letdown. Everything else about this bike, I think, makes it phenomenal to do track days with. So if you guys are out there looking for a low cc sport bike to do track days, this is your one. It's going to be hard to beat this. I honestly am a pretty big fan of the engine. I love the transmission, how it just ticks in each gear. It gives me that confidence that I know I'm shifting when I think I am. Power delivery wise, I am totally content with it. It doesn't blow me away or anything like that. I love the torque, but everything else is pretty solid. It's very light. It feels stable on the highway once you get up to speed. It's just an overall really, really solid machine we've got here. It is going to cost a little more even compared to the other ABS options on the other bikes, but I don't know, it's going to be kind of up to you. I don't think I would pick this bike for my everyday bike. I think it's I just don't think it fits well for that. The seat's not comfortable. The body position's a little more forward and more aggressive, and you know, all the shaking and stuff like that, I just don't know if I'd want that for a commuter bike. But I think if I was picking like a second or third bike or a small CC bike just to do track days, that's where this bike kind of fits in. That's about all I've got for the 2019 RC 390, guys. Again, I'm Chaseontwowheels. This has been a Chaseontwowheels first ride. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. And before I get out of here, I want to give a big shout out to my guys at Mountain Motorsports. They are the dealership that we started and will end this video at. And those guys are the ones that allow me to just go in and ride any of these bikes, so I can let you guys know what they're like riding them for the first time. And now we've got this whole big comparison thing going on. So without them, I would not be able to do these videos. If you're in the North Georgia area or you're coming through the North Georgia area, I highly recommend to go check them out. They've got like 6 locations up here, and they have every bike you can think of. It's a phenomenal amount of motorcycles to go check out over there, so definitely stop in. And if you're in the market for a motorcycle and you go down below in the description and look up the first ride special pricing, I can actually save you guys a ton of cash on your next motorcycle if you're purchasing it from one of the Georgia Mountain Motorsports locations. That's it's been a long time to try to get that for you guys. I am very happy to finally have it, and I can't wait to hopefully save you guys some money on your next bike. That way you can put some money towards gear, maybe some accessories to get for the bike. But guys, I'm Chaseontwowheels. I appreciate you getting to the end of the video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. We got a lot more of these first rides coming out, comparing the low cc sport bike class and beyond. Outro crew, as we've done on all of these low cc sport comparison videos, make sure to drop an outro crew score for the 2019 RC 390 down in the comments, a 0 to 10 score, and I will contabulate all of the outro crew scores and put them in the final comparison video. You guys are the shiz. I appreciate you long time, love you long time, and I cannot wait to see you guys on the next first ride. Not sure what it'll be, but it'll either be the GSX-R 250 or the GSX 250R or the CBR 300R. Y'all go ride safe, and I will see you on the next one.